is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
A trip to the final is the reward tonight at the Ford World Men's Curling Championships for the victor of the 1 versus 2 playoff match. Scotland's David Murdoch rose to the top out of a tangled 6-way tie for first place as the round robin ended. He may be a rookie at the Worlds, but he plays like an old hand. A win tonight will send him directly to the championship final on Sunday. Andy Kapp of Team Germany already has some hardware from previous Worlds. In the past, he's picked up 2 bronze medals and a silver, but the gold has so far eluded him. A win tonight will propel him straight to the final and another chance to claim the championship. Who plays Randy Ferbey in the semifinal will be decided tonight. Good evening from Victoria, British Columbia, as we bring you the Page 1-2 playoff game at the 2005 Ford World Men's Curling Championship. The Save-On Foods Memorial Center has been the venue for this event. Large crowds have attended all of the draws, particularly this afternoon for the Page 3-4 game. Another full house expected this evening for the 1-2 game, as Germany and Scotland were named the top 2 teams out of that somewhat confusing 6-way tie for first place. Teams with identical records of 8-3. Their performance against other teams that were tied taken into consideration. Scotland number 1, Germany number 2. As a result, they play in this 1-2 game. The winner goes on to the final on Sunday. The loser will face Canada's Randy Ferbey in the semifinal tomorrow. Ferbey this afternoon, a 7-6, 10-end decision over Paul Trulson of Norway. Canada got 2 on the 9th to tie it. Trulson had the final stone of the 10th end. Coming out of the hack a little wobbly. This may have affected his throw as he attempted the run back on a Canadian stone to the shot rock. He misses it, and Canada escapes with a 7-6 win and a berth in the semifinal against the loser of this 1-2 game between Germany and Scotland. Norway and Canada in the 3-4 game, Scotland and Germany in the 1-2 game, the winner going directly to the final. Canada had to survive a tiebreaker this morning against Finland to make it to the game against Norway after Norway in a tiebreaker defeated the United States. So it's been a long day for 2 teams here, and the top 2 teams playing just once today. And Joan, you've been watching this Scottish team. You're quite impressed with the skip, David Murdoch in particular.
Well, they've just got stronger and stronger as this week has gone on. As you said, David Murdoch, new to the Worlds, but getting more comfortable. With every game, he plays a little bit more aggressively. I think he's surprised to be in this 1-2 game, and I think that the first half of this game, he may take a while to get comfortable, and then look out. This kid can make shots, and especially draw to the button when he needs to.
Andy Kapp and his German team got off to a great start, Mike. They beat Canada 10-5 in the very first game of round-robin competition, and they've impressed with their play.
They have. They are veterans at that world stage as opposed to young David Murdoch. Andy, Uli, Ollie, and Holger have had a very good week. Andy himself is a little bit up and down. He had great draw weight against Randy Ferbey in that opening round win. If he's on, this team is very tough to beat.
Joan, is there a key matchup we should look forward to?
Well, I think we've got to look at the 3-4 punch. The players shooting third and skip. On the German team, the steady influence is Uli Kapp, and as Mike said, Andy a little bit more consistent. On the Scottish team, it's Craig Wilson that's a little bit up and down, and David Murdoch is the steadying influence. So we're going to see how this plays out today. If Uli comes out on fire, Craig Wilson is going to have to keep up, or vice versa with the skips.
Well, the winner will go to the final on Sunday afternoon. The loser faces Canada's Randy Ferbey in the semifinal tomorrow. Scotland and Germany coming up next at the 2005 Ford Worlds.
Ford World Men's Curling Championships on The Ford World Men's Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by Tim Hortons new Toasted Chicken Club. By the original Strauss Heart Drops. Trust the tradition. And by Scott Paper Limited and its family of quality paper products.
In the round-robin competition with 6 teams atop the standings at 8-3, games against the other 5, the determining factor in the final placings. And when they took a look at all the games, it was Scotland #1, Germany #2. Germany's Andy Kapp, an 8-3 record. Losses, as you see, along the way. One of them to New Zealand after opening with a very impressive win against Canada. David Murdoch found himself a little surprised last night when told his team had finished #1 in the standings.
I didn't expect to get first spot. I knew we had a good draw of the shot, but I know it didn't come down to that. But our head coach, Derek Brown, Olympic coach, he'd worked out that we had a better record than the wins. So just delighted.
Absolutely delighted, because 2 opportunities to reach the final as a result of playing in this 1-2 game. Obviously, he would like to move directly to the final on Sunday by defeating Germany. But if he should lose, then he'll go to the semifinal tomorrow against Canada's Randy Ferbey.
Well, it's safe to say that either Germany or Scotland would like to face Ferbey in the semi. This is a big game. It's nice to have 2 chances, but this will be the best chance for either one of these teams, you'd have to think. And I think they'd be thinking the same thing.
A perfect record for Germany's Andy Kapp when starting the game with last rock advantage, as he will in this 1 versus 2 page playoff encounter. In round-robin competition, when Scotland won, Scotland had last rock and scored 2 on the very first end and were never headed.
When I was talking to David Murdoch before the game, and I said, what would your goal be? Are you planning to be aggressive, knowing that you have a second chance in this 1-2 page playoff game? And he said, no, I don't plan on playing any differently. My goal is to turn over the loss of hammer by the 5th end. They want to make sure that they get the advantage, the upper hand, going into the last half of the game.
And you do that by holding your opponents to 1 and then taking a deuce at some point on the way.
But he's anticipating that close of a game. And this is this defensive call that we have seen by the German team over and over again. With that center guard being played by the opposition, they will go to the wing.
Well, when you look at the records of these 2 teams, compared to what we saw in the tiebreaker, for example, between Canada and Finland, where Marco Uusipavoniemi had been on a roll and won 7 in a row, and Canada had put together a string. Their last loss had been to Norway in round-robin competition. It's been a little up and down for these teams. Scotland, for example, a win, a loss, and a win in their last 3. And for Germany, a loss and then a bit of a streak, 3 wins. But they were somewhat fortunate to eke out victories in a couple of those final games they played against Australia, Norway, and Switzerland. Ewan Byers removing the German stone, sitting there, and Holger Hone will take aim at it. The only time these 2 teams have met was in the round robin, and David Murdoch won by the 7-4 score, as we mentioned. During the competition, the German team has altered their lineup. Andreas Kempf has come in. Holger Hone has moved up to 2nd. Oliver Axnick has come out. Axnick has moved down to lead, and Kempf has gone to 2nd. So they've done some juggling. The only constant and consistent positions have been at skip and 3rd with Andy and Uli Kapp.
And we believe from watching this team over the course of the week that they have their strongest lineup in, with Holger Hone playing lead and Oliver Axnick playing second, that this is by far the best combination of those three and the positions that would be available to them.
This is the 6th World Championship for Oliver Axnick.
Whoa! Whoa! Kijk! Finish! Finish! Whoa! Rüber. Ja, Olli. Gut. Okay.
A great start opening day. Germany with wins over Canada and Sweden before losing 5-4 to New Zealand. Their other losses to Scotland and Finland. But they won 3 after the loss to New Zealand, and after the double loss to Scotland and Finland, won 3 more.
Came up big on the final day, defeating Norway and Switzerland, both contenders.
Okay,
Get up. That was a bad way. That was a bad way.
Scotland beat Norway to start the competition. They won their first 4 before losing to Switzerland and the United States, back-to-back setbacks, then 3 wins before the loss to Canada. That was a critical game for Canada in particular, as it kept alive their hopes of getting into the playoffs.
They get back. Oh! Whoa! Whoa, Jungs! Gut, gut, gut.
And now it's possible that Scotland could face Canada again in either the semi-final or the final. The same applies to Germany, of course. Or these two teams could meet each other again in the final.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Gonna go hard.
Not surprised, as I said in the opening, to see a defensive start to this game. I don't think Scotland had any intention of really taking a lot of chances without last rock.
I was actually surprised they threw a guard on their first one, to be honest,
Jungs?
but there's a miss. This will give the Germans a free chance at a come around.
Well, this is certainly in contrast to what we saw in the game between Norway and Canada, where they started mixing it up on the opening end.
Well, again, safe to say both Norway and Canada are the 2 most aggressive teams here. These teams will get into it later in the game. They try to keep it tight early, though.
And Marko Niemi of Finland was also willing to mix it with Canada right from the start. And that aggressive style of play may have been the reason that the Finns were able to put together a streak of 7 consecutive wins.
10, Craig. 10, 11.
Gonna make a play on this, Stone. Try to tap it through the rings.
Yep. Hard. Whoa.
Way on lit.
Yep. Yep.
Hard! Hard all the way down, boys!
Real hard, real hard, real hard. Okay. Good.
Wilson removes the German stone to sit shot.
Aggressive call here from the Germans, playing a freeze.
Aussend! Ja, aussend. Oh! Oh, længe endnu, længe,
Easy.
længe. Længe godt, længe over. Oh! Oh! Now, please, linje is good. Fremleim. Længe over. Oh! Linje! Ja! Ja! Hard. Ja! Hard. Alles! Hard. Fish! Fish! Okay, good.
Just over curled a little.
Weiss, Steph? Weiss?
Ja.
Well, this game is being televised back to Germany. Usually Uli Kapp is doing the commentary for German television on major curling events. And like Joan and Mike, he would be much happier playing, as he is, in this game.
I couldn't be happier than being here, Don. It's not possible. We'll miss Joan, though, at the trials in Halifax, won't we?
I'm thinking not, actually.
It'll be much quieter. December 3rd to 11th, the Canadian Olympic trials take place in Halifax at the Metro Center, the men's and women's playdowns.
Good looking shot here.
Wonderful.
And to stick around as well. Force Germany to deal with their stones.
What a nice touch. First end.
Try, Dave.
No double available.
In the game against Canada, we saw Murdoch make some amazing shots. Very delicate touch shots. And then the big weight hits with very, very little margin for error.
He's got all the shots.
Wondering which stone to freeze to, or whether to play a hit and roll on the open stone. I think Germany's going to be forced here to take one, that they should freeze to the shot stone.
I would freeze the shot. I'm looking at freezing the corner guard stone. I think the one you freeze to is the one at the back of the button. There you go.
Yeah. Work their way around to it.
And the goal here isn't necessary to get two. If they can make a decent freeze, even if it's up front a little bit, you expect Scotland to try to play a big weight shot to pick this out. And if you're hoping that you'll lose the stone at the back as well, then you might have a blank opportunity on your next stone.
Well, this is Andy Kapp's first appearance at the World Championships since 2001.
Warten. Länge gut. Oh, Länge hoch. Ja, kürzer. Länge gut. Oh, warten. Viel Platz. Länge gut. Viel Platz. Jetzt kommt er. Länge gut. Genau, Länge. Linie ist gut. Oh, muss können. Ja. Hart. Ja. Hau rein. Hart. Außen. Außen. Hart. Außen. Hart. Hart.
Is this going to over curl?
It is.
And it's going to come up short as well.
That's good. Okay. Ja. Ein bisschen eher nehmen. Ja. Okay.
We talked about the Canadian Olympic trials. The team from Great Britain will be selected, and December 20th is the date that they will name the team from a pool of 10 players, the Tom Brewster team, along with the fifth on this team, Ewan McDonald, also being up for consideration, and Warwick Smith, another.
Easy height.
Joan has already anointed David Murdoch as the player who should be chosen skip for this team.
Yeah, I don't know why Mike K wouldn't listen to me.
Oh, boy. Good shot.
That's a great shot.
David Murdoch removing the German stone to lie 3.
Nice shot, David.
Well, I'm sure one of the considerations for the Scottish Curling Federation is Murdoch's success here, and that any of the candidates that they put together for their selection of 10, they need to look at what their success and their experience has been in international competitions, because that is what the Olympics is all about, is how do you perform in an international competition against all these other countries that may be sending representatives that have lots of experience. Needs to curl up a bit.
They need to save the shooter. And the shooter is going to roll too far. It's a steal of 2. Scotland also started with 2 points in the opening end in the round robin game, but then they add last rock. Here they steal a deuce. Well, a good start for Scotland on the opening end of this 1-2 page playoff game, stealing a pair against Germany. A couple of good shots by David Murdoch to set up the possibility of a steal. It was still an open hit for a point for Andy Kapp, but he had to be right on target, and unfortunately for the German team, he was not.
I just think he overthrew that stone, just a little bit too much weight, didn't catch the curl and get up to the nose.
Another pick on this sheet B. So we saw Few stones lost this afternoon.
I mentioned that this is Kapp's first appearance at the World since 2001. Since 2002, Sebastian Stock has dominated German curling.
Linie gut. 3. Oh, Linie gut. Ah, ja. Linie ist gut, eine Länge.
Andy and Uli are very motivated by where the Worlds are.
Ah, ja.
Victoria being a beautiful city, and they also realized it was an Olympic year, and they raised their level of play this year and played a little bit more than usual, trying to secure berths at both the Olympics and here in Victoria.
5. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just for a week.
Last few years they haven't played as much as they used to play. Real life getting in the way of their curling.
And part of the reason was that Andy and his wife have had 3 children in under the last 5 years. I think the oldest is 4 years old. So they've been very busy.
I just clicked that on the way past.
Craig Wilson telling Andy Kapp that as he was brushing, he just hit that guard stone closest to the rings with his brush. Didn't move it at all, but he did make contact with it.
With the 2-point lead, those are 2 misses from Scotland. You don't want those those guards out in front of the rings. You want them top 8, top 4. And they did it twice. Came up short twice.
4. Ah, 4. Du brauchst da. Vorne 4.
Again, further to this German team and their performance leading up to the Worlds and the Olympics. They beat Stock in the German Olympic trials by going 3-1 and 4-0 in the double round robin competition. And Andy Kapp was saying that his team worked specifically to unseat Sebastian Stock to become the German champion.
Stock, of course, lost the World Final last year. Pia Lindholm defeated Mark Dacey in the semi-final.
6. They're going. 7. Round the back. No.
It's breaking now. Breaking now.
Again, don't want to bounce off here. Leave a
That's okay.
shot for the Germans.
And he does rub off the German stone to sit open.
Germany has a great chance to get this 2 points back with a good shot from Oliver Axnick.
It's 3 mistakes in a row from Scotland here in the second end.
Oh, spun back in. That's hanging on.
We've seen a fair bit of that. Stones looking as though they are out of the rings, and then that final spin as it curls back in, as the stone belonging to Germany just did. Neil Murdoch was with Craig Wilson, who was skipping Neil Murdoch at third stone when they won the World Junior Championship in Grindelwald in 1993.
It's actually an interesting story how this team came together. David Murdoch was actually playing lead for Tom Brewster when he was younger, and his brother Neil played third and had a chance to skip later in juniors on his own, and decided, hey, I kind of like this, and brought Neil with him. And a couple of years later picked up Ewan Byers, and they played a year or so with Ewan, and decided they needed a better third, and they went out and recruited Craig Wilson hard. And David Murdoch was saying that he had Ewan Byers phoning him every day to bring him out of retirement in 2002 for the single purpose of putting together the best team that they could. And
Great chance here for the Germans.
paid off. Got to get by the guard.
The inside roll was available there. Could have lie 2 underneath those center guards would have been nice.
Yeah, watch, there's 2 reds in there.
Yeah. What do you like, Craig?
Taking a look at maybe the angle raise.
My barrier. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
This shot will get Scotland out of trouble if they can make it. The little angle raise.
Half a rock should stick that Yellowstone right behind the guard. Barrier is their board weight. That started to say it was firm, a little bit more than they're looking for.
Close.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Hard, 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 hard.
Angling back onto the shot stone. They've got shot rock now, partially behind cover.
Nice throw.
Well done.
Yes, Oli.
You talked about Stock losing the world final to Peja Lindholm in Gavle, Sweden last year. Stock and Lindholm also hooked up in the final of the 2004 European Championship, and Stock won it.
Weg.
This needs to curl a ton to get a piece.
It's sliding right by, so Germany is in danger after having 2 stolen on the first end of giving up another steal here in the second. Andrea Schopp won the 1998 Women's World Championship.
Yeah. Okay.
In 1988, she
Just leave it.
won the final when it was played at the Summit Center in Glasgow.
Turn. One turn.
Make it 3.
Go.
Make it 3.
Go. 3.
Easy.
Whoa. 3. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yep. 3. Yep. 3.
Yeah.
Go hard.
Playing a guard.
Whoa.
3 is a tight guard. It's well done.
There's the double peel attempt here.
Come back.
Run back also an option. Hit this a little on the high side would be okay. Double those 2 guards off.
Uli Kapp runs it back, gets the double. They had to move quickly over on the side boards to prevent the stone from making contact, bouncing off the boards onto the biter on the edge of the 12. Good run back by Uli Kapp.
And watch Holger Honey try to get over there to stop that rock from coming off the sideboards and jamming. He actually kind of wipes out. It was a good move.
The save or the wipeout?
Slippery ice, that is.
Slippery.
Like this? Yeah, you got to see that'll go round. Nah, I like this.
2-point lead. Scots will hit this. Dave was talking about the come around. No point to risk it, I don't think. Hit and stay.
I think he's thinking that Germany may be going for the come around anyway, if he hits and stays.
Good point to look at the scoreboard.
Barrier.
Yep.
Whoa. Quiet, barrier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes these innocuous looking stones can have an impact on an end.
Gotta go hard. Come on, man.
Okay. Good.
Especially
And
with
now-
only 2 rocks to come.
Right, and now Scotland lies one, but that stone is being ignored by Andy Kapp. He has last rock on this second end.
He's got a lot of guards up there. He might as well try to use them. Try to get around to the top 4, get it buried, and try to set up for 2.
This is the side of the sheet that was a little straighter in this afternoon's game, and we saw that the other day as well. It's a lot of ice
for this comer. He's coming around the red guard through the port.
Oh, warten! 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 Noch keine Linie! Oh, jetzt geht's. Oh! Oh!
He's coming across now.
Oh, was können! Yep!
Nice looking shot.
Line is great. Take it right to the forefoot now.
Lovely shot.
That is perfect.
In his opening game win against Canada, we saw Andy Kapp make some great draws, pressure draws against 2, against 3, coming right down to the forefoot to the button.
Dave, even if he's sitting top of it, it's really tough for these two. That's a toughie for getting that one out.
It's there. Go out.
Yeah.
He's got a break.
He's got no draw on this side, on the left-hand side.
Freeze, Craig.
Hey?
Freeze.
I think so. It's either that or that, but I think the freeze.
Nah, too easy.
Just going to try to freeze and make the rings awfully small for Kapp to try to get his second point.
Likely have to come through the port with the out turn to the full 4, which is, again, you're going away from the center line. Be tough.
Be a new path as well. So this is really a smart call. David Murdoch, there is no great shot for him to remove this besides an angle, and he doesn't need to take that chance.
He's had draw weight in his hip pocket all week, except for the one stone that he missed against Canada in the round-robin competition. His final stone of the 10th end.
Off if you can, off!
Whoa.
Close!
On
Close!
top!
Where?
On top!
Whoa then.
What's the line?
Whoa!
Come round.
Whoa!
On the side.
Whoa! No! Good out.
Could have swept that with another inch or two.
It's not bad.
Well, those brushing it wanted to jump on it, but Craig Wilson was calling them off
Adi, so.
and making it very definite that he wanted them off.
Einfach auf die Guard anhalten.
You see, there's an out turn available through that port, but it would be drawing the stone away from the forefoot. This wide in turn is very difficult as well.
The port looks easier to me, but seems to have a little more room to work with. But this in turn is available.
Ein bisschen weiter draußen, aber ich glaube, Länge muss gleich sein.
75. Ja, 70 vielleicht.
75 is the split they're talking about down there. A little heavier than he just threw.
Needs to get a bite at the forefoot for his second point. The guard is an issue. They will need to come quite close to the guard to get to the forefoot.
Yep. Ja, außen. Außen. Länge gut. Yep, außen.
Wow, Länge. Länge.
Oh, Länge.
Platz ist gut. Platz ist easy.
Viel Platz. Viel Platz.
Oh, easy. Jetzt kann er. Wow, jetzt kann er.
Nein, genau die Line.
Now it's beginning to move. Will it move over far enough, though? No, it's too heavy as well, I think. Or no. Look at this dig in. And I think he's got it. Yes, he has.
What finish on that stone.
That was amazing. Never had a chance until it stopped.
Certainly looks like two.
Craig's hard pressed to give up on it.
Two. Yep, two.
Two it is.
So with last rock and a stone that looked like it was going to be heavy and wide, it ground to a halt for a second point at a 2-2 tie. Tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific time, it's the semifinal at the Ford World Men's Curling Championship. And it will be Canada's Randy Ferbey against the loser of this Page 1-2 playoff game, either Germany or Scotland. The winner of this game goes directly to the final on Sunday. And as we have pointed out on numerous occasions during round-robin competition, this is the first year that the Page system has been used at the Worlds. And it's also the first time that 12 teams have played at the Worlds.
Well, a couple of great draws by Andy Kapp have got the Germans back on even ground here after the miscue in the first end to give up the steal.
Sandy will be feeling a little better after missing the simple hit in the first.
Yep.
But that was a strange draw attempt. It looked as though it was wide and heavy, and all of a sudden it turned to the right and came to a halt. Just enough to be second shot.
Okay.
The final standings, a 6-way tie for first place at 8-3. And Randy Ferbey and other competitors have talked about the parity that now exists at the world level. At one time, there used to be teams that you could consider almost a bye game. That's no longer the case. As Canada will quickly attest, they had a difficult time with Italy and a very tough time, and they were fortunate to squeak past Australia.
It's okay.
And sometimes it takes being here to find that out. You can ask Mark Dacey last year playing against a very tough Sebastian Stock from Germany. There are no more slouches at the Worlds. Very, very good teams.
Yep. Hard. 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 Okay.
Oliver Axnick is going after the stone sitting in the 12-foot. Ideally, they would like to roll towards the center line. It's a nose hit.
Now with the hammer might be a good time to go around if you're David Murdoch. Last time without the hammer, he was contemplating ignoring stones in the 12-foot. He's not going there yet.
Well, in previous games, in the early stages, we have seen this Murdoch team play very defensively.
Jesus Christ.
Only played aggressively in response to a team like Ferbey or Truelson, who will put a lot of rocks in play for him. Be forced to play aggressively.
With the hit and roll out by Neil Murdoch, Axnick will now try and take advantage of those two stones sitting out front.
Das ist kurz. 3. Das ist gut. Hart. Länge. Sehr kurz.
Very short is what the sweepers are saying.
Working desperately to get it by, but they're on the Scottish stone out front. So now there's a wall of 3 and a chance for Murdoch to be first behind cover.
Da ein bisschen langsamer, glaube ich.
You hear the beeps.
8.
Those are German stopwatches. Paul Truelson
Whoa. They're up.
in the round robin game against Germany, round 15, was quite aggravated by those stopwatches and actually went to the German front end and questioned whether they need to be standing as close to him as they were. He knew the sound was coming. He was getting very frustrated. Very loud beep.
Dave Nedouin actually made comment to the German front end on that first draw on those beeps too. But it is the other team's right to use their stopwatch and time the other team. That's done by most competitive players around the world.
But they also asked the German team to use their newer style stopwatches rather than the ones that make that very loud beep.
Warte. Wow. Sehr lang. Wow. Aufpassen! Wow!
Das hat mindestens Füße.
Wow!
This is also coming too deep.
Ja, wird klar. Gut.
Four. Yep.
Way only. Way only.
5 is a better number. Top 8, 6 is top 4.
This line.
Trying to get one in front of the tee line.
Finish it.
It's a little deep.
All right.
Was hat meiner gerade gehabt? Was hat der Kapp gerade?
80. Sauber.
Selbe Länge. Aufpassen.
Linie.
Ja.
Außen.
Außen.
Hart.
Außen.
Working to get past the stone out front.
Hinten nach. Oh.
They've kept it on line. Now it has to move.
Good.
Very nice touch. Moved it enough to get shot stone. The corner buried behind that guard.
You don't fancy wrapping the 2 centers?
That's a pretty good call, I think.
Not liking that.
Open it up.
This is on.
You're talking about
If you just clip this to here.
I can only see half stone.
Yeah, I know. We're just talking 8, 9.
Barely get those at 89.
I like that.
Okay.
Team not convinced.
Touch more, not much.
Craig Wilson had some thoughts about opening up the center and moving those guards.
9. Yep.
I like
Way on
the
line.
feel.
Oh, yep.
Yeah!
Hard.
Hard! Quick! Real hard, boys!
Quick.
Skid! Hard!
Keep going. Keep going. Hard.
Go on.
Far so good. That's okay.
Okay.
He had to go very tight to the guard, did not get
Same,
past.
boys.
Good. I'd say I like looking out there.
I think so too.
Just rub this top one.
Den nehmen.
A good heads up to keep working on that stone. Get it on the rings. Not sure if it's going to come into play later or not.
Das so liegt, oder? Ja, der Beste. Ja.
Halt dahinter.
Okay, Eis. So.
Mehr.
To the left of your
Kommt das so
picture is
weh?
Mike Hay, who is the national team coach, and it will be his final decision
Das ist ein Hit
that
and Roll Spiel,
will
was ich mache.
decide the makeup of the Olympic team, both men and women, for Great Britain. On the right, Ewan McDonald, one of the players under consideration, and Tom Pendrick in the center. He's the coach.
Can't believe they're playing this.
I thought they were drawing there, trying to draw to the top 8 foot. Instead, that they're making a play off of this.
Whoa!
How about a guard?
That's a poor call.
Now that stone that Wilson could not get to because of the guard is open.
That was just
Well,
strange.
and a chance for 2 or 3 will be
Also ich glaube, dass er einfach nicht so viel
on
kommen darf.
for
Wir
Scotland.
müssen von der Länge zurücknehmen. Der war gut gespielt.
Little tap and a roll under.
Von außen so ein bisschen, dass sie einfach brauchen. Also man kann sie wahrscheinlich auch halten. Also du startest die nicht.
Uli was making an indication that he wanted the rock to be in the top 8 foot. I thought they were drawing it there. I'm quite shocked that they played the hit.
60.
the discussion was that that shot wasn't that easy. Well, the guard was fine. Didn't have to get it even into the top 8 foot.
Right off. Where?
11.
Right off.
Need to get to the inside here. Needs to curl a fair amount.
It's coming now.
It's not going to get there.
Yep.
It's not going to finish strongly enough. It's going to nudge it over and
Come on.
will it push it far enough? Yes, he does.
That was not the call.
That was a good heads-up plan B by Craig Wilson to call that so it didn't jam. But now Germany has a chance to get one in there.
And he's looking at just coming down. That stone that's at the back 4 foot, that yellow stone you see there. And he's looking at just coming down and nudging a little and maybe getting an inside roll.
Yeah.
I think he's coming down to try right down to this one and tapping. Yes, he is. That's the indication from Uli, tapping it. Another good call here would be just to get in here yourself. Get in buried.
The tap will force Scotland into 1, though.
Depends on what their goal is. You're right, Mike. Happy with the forcing to 1 or going hard for a steal.
Hang it.
Yep.
Schnell up. Yep. Hard.
Ja.
Outside.
Ja.
There's a danger. He might be tight to the guard.
Weiter. Weiter.
Okay.
Now an opportunity to
Sorry, Jungs.
get a couple anyway.
Racked the guard and then didn't hit this one too square to come off of it. And now a chance for Scotland for 2.
Out of nowhere.
Schade. Okay.
Just an open draw. Come right in here anywhere. Gets his 2 points. And now that Andy Kapp racked on the guard, it's a way bigger port as well.
Yeah, there's a bigger opening to the 4 foot circle now. He needs full 8 really for the second point here.
Lots of room.
7.
Lots of room. Right off. Right off.
Oh, line's good. Line's good.
Line's okay.
Oh,
Line's okay.
Line's good.
No back in.
Now it begins to move across. And he draws to the edge of the button to get his deuce. So it's been an exchange of 2s through the first 3 ends. Scotland now in front by 2. This is the trophy they're playing for at the 2005 World Championship. Canada has won it twice and is still alive in the battle to try and claim it for a 3rd time. They will play the loser of this 1 versus 2 page playoff game. This is the first year that the page system has been used. In the past, it was strictly a semi-final, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3.
Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Yep. Good. Yep. Yep. Hard. Good. Attaboy. He's better.
And even under the old system with a 6-way tie for first place, the same 4 teams would have made it through. But it would be Scotland playing Canada, Germany against Norway if it was strictly the top 4 in a 1-4-2-3 semi-final situation.
And of course, those semifinals would be sudden death. No page playoff idea where you get a second chance to get at the gold medal.
Now Mark Dacey found that out last year in Gavle, Sweden. He was involved in the page playoff against Canada and wound up winning the championship in 2004 in Saskatoon.
He
Quite
had
a
to go
come
down.
from behind performance against Randy Ferbey to win it.
Mark had to go play his bronze medal game last year against Paul Trilson and beat him in that bronze game.
2-3.
First Canadian team ever to win that bronze medal game. The men's side.
Oh, good. Good shots.
Very nice shot by Ewan.
Under the Page playoff format, it's much more difficult for teams that finish third and fourth in round robin play to win the championship. They have reached the championship game, but the route to that title is much more difficult. And there should be a reward for finishing first or second in round robin competition.
I feel that way. I think it's just more indicative of your best teams that have been playing all week tend to make it back to the final.
And since the Page playoff system was introduced at the Brier and the Scott, one team that finished third or fourth in round robin play to win the championship.
I know who. You know who, John?
A women's competition, the Scots, Kelly Law, Prince George, having to survive tiebreakers to get into the 3-4 position, going on to win the championship.
Now I remember.
Not only did she win the Scott that year, but Kelly Law also went on to win the World Championship.
Den är skott! Den är skott!
Through the port, but not removing the Scottish stone.
Du musst schneller reagieren, Olli.
A little too heavy was the message sent to Olli
Bleib einfach bei der Länge gerade.
from Uli.
Through Andy.
Whoa.
8! Whoa. A bit split on top, Dave. Whoa.
I need something.
Yeah, it needs something.
Yep.
Need a rub.
It's too heavy.
Needs an edge. Needs an edge.
Read over. Whoa.
Good communication from the sweepers.
Splits on the guard to lie 3.
That wasn't the call, but a great
52
plan B after the sweepers indicated he had too much weight. Germany trying to keep pace here with Scotland. Needs to make something happen here in a hurry.
Nicht so schnell.
Good start.
That'll work.
Jetzt hier, Andy.
And David Murdoch feels they can get to the shot stone through the port. The two Scottish rocks sitting, one just outside the rings, the other biting the 12-foot.
Just a freeze attempt.
5. 4.
Well, Yep.
6. Whoa. On it. This line.
Now it's a question of line. Will this stone curl enough? Looks pretty good.
Overswept.
Not quite enough.
Overswept just ever so slightly.
Just to let it bounce off. Will give Germany a chance to follow him down and just tap it through the 4-foot.
Okay. Hinten Haus.
Just want to move it a foot or two.
70. Yep.
back house weight was what was asked for. Don't even need to throw that much, I don't think.
Backline, yeah, backline.
And this needs to curl up to the center line and a little past. It's a long ways to go. Called for a minute there to get the rub off of the outside. Thought they'd redirect.
Far too heavy.
And it nudges the Scottish stone in for shot.
You need to. He's not got a lot. I think 3-4 would be good. Like.
Okay. Even if it's just 3, Dave? Even if it's just 3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't think Germany has a lot of options if they block off this path.
Yeah. Throw 6 feet less. See if it in there, break.
Yeah.
Wait,
Tight guard would work.
Off. 5. Off.
Don't want to come wide open.
Line's good now.
4.
Line's good.
Well, we only. 5. Yep. 4. Guard.
It's really curling.
Great line. Take it right to the face now. Beautiful shot.
Wow.
July 2.
That is going nowhere. Germany in all kinds of trouble here.
Just.
It's lovely because you can't raise it up now.
Germany's going to be forced to try to clear the front. And even then, they're going to be in trouble trying to score.
Well, they're 2 shots away from even having a chance to score. It's 2 stones that are frozen in the house. This one in particular will take at least 2 chances to get out. Bad option wouldn't be bad trying to kill that stone at the back of the button. Maybe there's the double peel is available, but the angles aren't great. They could send something in and kill their own stone.
Playing a peel on shot stone is what you're suggesting. I agree, that might be worth a try.
Just playing to jiggle them around a little bit. They really need to get that one off the butt, move it to the back 8 foot somehow.
Finish! Whoa!
Good. No, it's a pretty good effort. It's excellent, actually. Scots are still lying too, but worked out very well.
Germany has something to work with now.
Yep. Just got to cover the pour, eh?
Yeah. It's either that we're running outside red.
No.
There's no real need.
No. We're line 2.
It's a little bit up as well, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
A 2, David.
What size, Dave?
Just going to guard. Get something up here. Guard this port so that Germany can't come in and play something off of this top one.
They'd love a guard that big.
2, 3.
A really big guard. That's
2, 3.
Yeah. 2's good. Right in the middle of the hole. Yep.
Another large crowd in attendance here at the Save-On Foods Memorial Center.
19-4.
It was close to capacity for the 3-4 game as Canada scored a last rock 7-6 win over Norway to advance to the semi-final tomorrow.
2's fine. 2's fine.
The angles are very poor in the house right now still for Germany.
Off if you can.
2, 3.
Off if you can.
the only angle that is good is that straight back that I drew out.
Right off.
And with this guard,
Right off.
This is over curling.
Whoa.
Leave the same shot is available. Bit of a miss.
guard is too high and curled a little too much.
But it still requires a very difficult touch to get past the guard that was still thrown and have the stone warp into those rocks in the forefoot.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room there.
We've seen so many of these come way down with that kind of back forefoot type of weight. They'll really curl hard in
Should
there.
have tried to guard off the other hand, but nah. I think that was the hand to play there, right enough.
Germany would be thrilled to score a single point right now. The way this end started, after that freeze by Craig Brown in particular. Craig Wilson, that is.
Take weight.
Oh, back.
Come now.
Back.
A lot of curling to do.
Nein, hat keine Linie, hat keine Linie. Nein, niemals.
Komm, ciao.
Hat nicht.
He's going to rub his own and move it in for second shot.
Better than it was.
Einmal. Oh, there.
Just a little heavy, overthrown.
Same shot.
Nowhere close to the right line. They almost redirected again off that
Can't get
top
that, David.
yellow stone.
There's nothing on here. Nothing on there.
No, it's anything that goes, as long as we don't give him anything onto this red here.
Yeah, it's the red, isn't it?
Lose a lot.
It's red onto red, probably,
Well,
isn't it?
right in the middle there, right here.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
Eh? And even then, if he plays it, Craig, we're losing 3.
Yep, I know.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Okay.
Go with it.
What weight are you playing?
Same as the last.
Why you don't sweep it on at the end, though? You can pull it back in.
The shot that they were looking at was something off of that they thought
Because you could have an
something
angle
off of
onto that
this.
red to lie 3, yeah?
So they're
They could have an angle onto the red to lie 3, yeah?
going to try to block it. I'm going to use my big rock again.
No, any shot.
Try to block this path.
Split a hole in. Same way.
Out to brush again, David.
They expressed some concerns that there could be an angle raised there for 3. I'm not sure there is.
Well,
I don't really see where it is.
mathematically there is. It's very, very risky. We'll draw it out here in a minute, but
You
I
have
think
to,
you have to protect the easy shot, which is the tap that Andy just attempted.
Right off.
but a good guard would take away both the tap and this angle. It comes in just a little bit more great. And I don't think there is any room for an angle.
Here's the shot they were looking at. The concern is that if Germany could somehow get to the edge of this stone, it would kick this one out and it would spin off that same one and onto here. They can run a red one in there, but they can also run a yellow one in there and do it as well. It's a little more dangerous, obviously, with the yellow one, but look, Andy's going to try it. It's worth it. The reason it's worth it is that stone at the top of the button, that red German stone at the top of the button, is not likely going to go very far. It's in such a good spot. So almost a nose hit, just a hair high side. You may be able to see a shot here for 3.
The shot they were talking about, possibly for 3 previously, was it raising their own red in?
No, it was raising any of those stones that are out there. And the one that he threw is providing the best angle for Germany. But you raise that yellow stone straight back, just clip the center line portion of that stone that's at the top of the forefoot, and Germany will score 3.
But Scotland was thinking that they were going to, that Germany would use their own guard, not this one.
This could be a highlight reel shot if he makes it. He's going to get 1 out of it. Or give up a steal of 1, I should say.
No worse than it was. Worth the risk.
Another look at it.
Did not curl enough to be driven straight into the pile.
So a steal for Scotland and a 5-2 lead after 4 ends. A 5-2 lead Scotland enjoys over Germany. 3 of the points have been stolen, 2 in the first end and 1 on the last end. And that's the difference in this game.
Oh, great steal set up there by freeze made by Craig Wilson. A lot of pressure on the Germans.
Germany's really struggling this game, not being able to put together some consecutive shots after a great little hit and roll by Oliver Axnick. Uli Kapp wasn't able to follow up with a number of shots to set something up. They'll need to change that if they want to get back in this game.
Well, Germany started the game with hammer, but Scotland stole 2 on the first. Kapp got 2 back on the second with a draw, and then 2 more in the third and a steal in the fourth, and Germany enjoys a 5-2 advantage. Or Scotland, I should say, enjoys a 5-2 advantage.
Hard. Hard. Pull hard. Come on, bring it back. Bars it over. Bars it over.
A wee bit quicker if it's less.
Good way.
Andy Kapp calling for Holger Honey to draw into the pocket formed by the 2 Scottish zones.
A 3-point lead here. If this freeze is made, we may see Scotland step up and rip the corner guard.
Vorne 4. Vorne 4. Alex. Linie ist gut. Alex. Vorne 4.
Has to curl to get into the pocket, and here it comes as it finishes.
Nice shot.
And here's the peel attempt, as you predicted, Mike.
That's okay. Right.
Good. No damage done there. Spread the rocks out a little bit.
Yeah, accomplished 2 things there. Got rid of the guard and took the pocket away. Good result.
This German team, skipped by Andy Kapp, also played in Nagano in 1998 at the Olympic Games.
Oh, 2. Easy. Oh.
Bitte braucht er.
Oh, sauber.
Ist gut kürzer.
Oh. Oh.
Just curling off the sheet. This one.
Abwas.
Ja, ich sehe es.
Okay, ist gut, ist gut, ist gut. Ja, ja.
Looking to guard that stone.
Ja, das ist fangen.
Wo wolltest du den hinhaben?
Vor den normal, aber ja, was fangen kann.
Ja.
Ja. Das ist schon gut so. Hip, hip. Oh, hip. Oh. Whoa, whoa, hip, hip. Hard, 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 hard.
Scotland now lies 2 as Murdoch hits and rolls.
Germany will now go around that corner guard. Try to get something set up.
Ja, ja. Ausstellen. Oh.
Hänge.
Ja. Finish. 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 Weiter, komm. Oh, oh.
Great sweeping.
They really had to work to get it past the guard.
Well done. Now it's peeked out a little bit on the other side.
I think just peel it, Davey.
Okay.
3-point lead. Dictates the call.
Wait. Yep. Wait. Wait. Yes.
Nicely done.
Meinst du?
Oder so. Würde sie nur dreimal wegschießen.
You can see Craig Wilson winning that matchup so far.
Okay. Müssen nur zwei machen.
Germany really getting outplayed, I think, at every position.
Andy was asking the team what they thought of the hit and roll, and they said, why don't we play the guard? Okay.
In the final draw of round-robin competition last night, when Norway lost to Switzerland, thus creating the six-way tie for first place, it was the German team that benefited the most, moving from 5th place to 2nd place and a spot in this 1-2 page playoff game.
Wow. Wow.
For a time, it looked as though Canada might finish as high as 2nd place. But they were relegated to a tiebreaker, which they survived, defeating Finland, and then won the 3-4 page playoff game against Paul Trilson of Norway 7-6 earlier today. Another peel. And the stone that was outside the rings at the back is also taken out of play.
Well, one more guard here.
Sauber. Näher dran. Oh, muss Köln. Dieselbe Länge. Ist gut. Ist wie Köln.
Sehr weit noch. Sehr weit. Innen.
Innen mit Druck. Innen. Ja. Ja.
This is not curling, like the other one did.
Schluss. Ja.
There it goes.
Trying to finish it. Get it over to the shot, the second shot stone, the red one. That'll work. Ewan Byers just going down to the hack just to help out David Murdoch, see how much he can see.
That ain't too pretty.
Do I have a pop in it?
You get that wrong pretty easy.
Full weight.
Clip that. It's another story.
It's got about a quarter of the rock from the hack.
Pretty tight, Dave.
Eh?
See a third.
How about split the yellow?
Don't need to split it, Neil.
Oh, line anyway.
Second first shot already.
Yeah, I know, but if I went there, I'd leave with a skinny double.
I'd go with Abby this one, David.
Just on them two, then.
Depends what he does, eh? Ain't gonna move it this time. Probably wrong, man.
Considering John drawing in here, that would leave
Just thinking the dangerous thing is if
some
you
sort
put
of
it where your
double
brushes say,
no.
to
you
lie
could play a
two
double
buried.
off that.
Yeah, lose a 3.
I just peel.
Yeah. Just peel it.
Okay.
Again, wise decision. Scoreboard, 3-point lead. You'd think that Kapp's going to make a, Andy Kapp's going to make a move on the stone in the top 8 foot now. Hopefully, leave some sort of double opportunity.
To put it somewhere perfect, you can't have to double it.
See that? We had a go straight back at this. It's not that dangerous. Eh?
What about that, Craig? What about straight back in it?
You want to go for that?
Yeah. What do you think? Straight back in the guard.
I think
no,
you
straight
could.
back in the guard.
You could potentially, it could be dangerous if you
That's
nail
horrible.
the yellow one, just as Craig Wilson is
Pretty lucky to
indicating.
do that though. Chances are you hit and roll out.
Pretty unlucky to do that.
I don't mind straight back. Just high your nose, Craig. We'll go that way.
Old foe of mine in Ontario, Dave Merklinger, said that once. His vice said, okay, lucky you go. He jammed it.
Yeah, I think this is a chance because Germany has to make a play on shot stone. I think this is a better play to just peel this off.
Whoa.
Trying to run it back, and he takes his own out.
Got away with it.
That's all right.
That certainly is the story. Those numbers. Andy Kapp just struggling to string a couple of shots together. Only saw him make both of his shots in the second end when he made 2 great draws to get his 2 points. So he'll need to pull his numbers up.
Important shot here for Andy Kapp. A nose hit should leave no double.
He just cannot roll towards his other stone in the house and leave a double for Murdoch.
And the Brushers jumped on it almost immediately. Is it going to curl too much? It's going to slide harmlessly out of the rings after making contact.
Never had a chance. You heard Uli asked for the sweep right away, almost on release.
Sorry, Jungs.
We certainly saw a lot better shot making from Andy Kapp in the opening game of the competition against Team Canada, where Germany won 10-5. He was making everything.
Well, obviously with a record of 8-3, he's played way better than what we've seen so far in this game. Not having a good day.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa.
Yep.
Whoa! Yep.
And now the best that Germany can hope for with this hit by David Murdoch is a blank. Retain last rock and try to get set up again in the 6th end.
Good job.
There's never any danger with the first one, eh? No, you
There was a lot of danger. If you'd got that a little bit thicker, you're jamming it and he's got a hit for 3.
Because the angles you're going, it's always going to force it out.
The other thing as well is, if you hadn't have done that, we had a force there.
Yeah?
We had a force. I know, but...
I tend to agree with Craig Wilson on that one. There was some risk taken there that they really didn't need to take.
To hit and roll out, the objective here for Andy Kapp. He wasn't trying to do it with his last shot. He was this time, and on both occasions the shooter rolls out of the ring. So trailing by 3, he will retain last rock advantage into the 6th. Scotland leads Germany after 5 ends of play in the 1-2 Page playoff game. The winner goes to the final, the loser to the semi-final tomorrow against Canada, a game that begins at 2 o'clock Eastern Time in the main network of CBC television. A game you may have seen earlier today. Canada stealing a point on the last end as Paul Trulson of Norway attempted to run his own back onto the Canadian shot rock. He realized almost immediately he was off target. He drives it harmlessly by. A great shot by David Nedewin on the 9th end to get 2, and then another excellent shot by Nedewin on the 10th to raise the stone to the button for the eventual shot rock. And Canada is in the semifinal against the loser of this Scotland-Germany Page 1-2 playoff game. And that semifinal will come your way on the main network of CBC television beginning at 2 Eastern Time. That's 11 o'clock Pacific Time. 5-2, Scotland leads Germany in this 1-2 Page playoff game through 5 ends. 2 steals by Scotland on the 1st end and the 4th end. The difference in this game as they lead Germany by a score of 5-2. A great shot by Craig Wilson in the 4th end resulted in the Scottish team being able to steal a single point.
Well, Germany stayed pace by getting 2 back after that big steal. Thought they got things set up again in the 4th end with a great hit and roll by Oliver Aksnick, but Craig Wilson really took the end away with this perfect freeze.
Shaw was the guard. If the line's good, will take it right to the face, and perfect result, putting huge pressure on the Germans, and a big steal, take a 3-point lead.
And with the final stone, Andy Kapp attempted a very difficult run back trying to get the Scottish stone out of there. He moved one of them, but he couldn't get both, and as a result, the steal of 1 and a 5-2 lead. Germany will continue to have last rock advantage after successfully blanking the 5th when we head into N6 in this 1-2 Page playoff game at the 2005 Worlds.
The Ford World Men's Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by Ford. Built for life in Canada. The Ford World Men's Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by Karcher. You'll look for things to clean. By Scott Paper Limited and its family of quality paper products. And by Tim Hortons, new Toasted Chicken Club.
Well, the Germans have some work to do over the final 5 ends of this game if they are to erase the 3-point advantage that the Scots have built up. Remember, in round-robin competition, Scotland won by a score of 7-4. Some German support among members gathered inside the Save-On Foods Memorial Center for this 1 versus 2 page playoff game. And will they be cheering for Germany tomorrow, or will it be Sunday? The winner of this game advances automatically to the final on Sunday. The loser goes to the semifinal against Randy Ferbey and Team Canada tomorrow.
Well, I'm sure the German team had a talk about what they need to do to increase their level of play. They are within striking distance here of Scotland. If they can somehow manufacture a deuce, it's a new game.
That infamous 5-2 lead that Randy Ferbey had trouble holding on to throughout the week.
And the whole thinking there is that you have 5 ends to get 2, hold them to 1, get 2, hold them to 1, and get 2.
That does it, doesn't it?
It does.
It'd be 8-7.
Okay, guys. 3-4.
Whoa.
Huge leg. Let's swing. 4.
Oh. Easy. Easy. Okay.
Hoping for the guard. Just slipped into the rings. Not bad though, with a 3-point lead. Won't do any harm.
Germany looking for a second corner guard. And eventually they will deal with those rocks in the house.
Was?
Sehr lang.
Vorne 8.
Sehr lang.
Ja, yes.
Oh, Andi.
Dann ziehen nachher.
Nein.
Ja.
Länge, bleib vom Haus.
Was bleibt der? Okay.
Heavy all the way.
Good.
When Germany and Scotland met in round-robin play, Germany and Norway were deadlocked with identical records of 5-1 records. On that draw 11, Norway defeated Canada 5-4 to move to 6-1, and Scotland defeated Germany 7-4 to move into a tie for second place with Germany at 5-2. The USA was also at 5-2 at that point, and Canada's Randy Ferbey was 4-3 and in somewhat desperate straits as far as the playoffs were concerned. Then he went on a run that saw him win 4 straight games to go to 8-3, and today he's won 2 more, the tiebreaker and the 3-4 page playoff game, and will be playing tomorrow at 2 Eastern time on CBC television in the semifinal.
Läuft sehr gut.
2.
Länge ist gut.
Whoa. Yep.
Länge. Oh, schau ihn.
Hopefully Dave Nedham will bring Randy to the rink. So Randy thought the game was at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in post-game interview.
Well, you were quick to remind him that it is 11 Pacific time.
Well, Dave had to remind me too, so it was okay. That was a hard-fought victory this afternoon.
And we heard Dave Nedeman immediately following that game in the celebration phase say, we never gave up. We didn't give up. That's a lesson to every one of you out there. Don't ever give up. You never know what might happen.
Well, things certainly looked bleak on the 8th end when Paul Trulson was drawing for 2. He had to get a chunk of the forefoot came up just a couple of inches short. Only got one. Then a great shot by David Nedwin, in case you missed it, to raise the stone back into the forefoot. An angle raise to remove the Norwegian stone to get 2, and then they stole the winning point on the 10th end.
Very nice shot from Oliver Axnick. Roll behind that corner guard.
Oliver made a great hit and roll as well in the 4th end before Craig Wilson took the end away with a couple of nice draws.
Murdoch had been tapping the ice, indicating that he might like to play a come around, but I think he got talked out of that strategy, and Craig Wilson is going to remove the corner guard.
That would have been Andy Kapp's vote to play the come around. But you know, again, 3-point lead. There's no need to fool around with all these rocks in play.
He could run it back and get the 2 of them, and he does.
That is a good option.
Don't think that was the call, though, was it?
It was the call.
Oh,
Played the
okay.
run back, yeah.
Still a lot of guards for Germany to work with here. Patience needs to be shown by Germany.
Langsamer geworden. Vorne waren wir mit 80 durch. Hart. Hart. Gut. Hart.
Tight to the top one. It's on it.
Can be playing a hit and reel behind the guard. Just not quite enough weight.
Aufpassen da. Raus, Olli.
This isn't a disaster.
Kommt da ziemlich rein, der braucht ein bisschen am Posten rein. Ja, vorhin war ja der weit. Ja, komm, nee.
Barrier, Dave.
Yep. Even if you do this.
Okay. Yeah.
This Scottish team travels with a large support staff in addition to the alternate player and the coach. The national coach, Mike Hay, is here along with the assistant national coach, Kate Brewster. They have a video analyst and the physiotherapist. And as you saw, a lot of flag waving supporters in attendance as well. With the steal of 2 on the opening end, the Scottish team has constantly applied pressure to the Germans in this 1-2 page playoff game.
The Germans have missed a couple of opportunities as well.
Hart. Hart.
Once again, this is over curling.
Ja, das darf doch nicht wahr sein, oder? Ist länger, ist länger, ist länger. Ja, jetzt kurz, oder?
85, ja, ist ein Tick zu groß. Das ist natürlich
Da kommt er von ganz außen mehr.
Ja, das ist die Seite, haben wir vorhin drüber gesprochen.
Okay.
No, don't look at it.
Ist lang, die Seite ist langsamer und
I don't think so.
I thought you were at the guard.
Even hockey.
Uli just asking if he got out to the broom on that one, and he said yes, he did.
Even if it sits up and you
But
cut
that side of the ice seems to just be swinging so much. The wider you went, the more it curled.
Uli's rock did stop in a position that can be used by Germany later.
Hockey.
So David Murdoch is going to make a play on it.
Sitting up and rub off the other songs to get out.
And get right to the nose of this would be very good for Scotland.
Complete control of the front of the rings.
Right off.
This is on the nose.
Right off.
I think Germany would be forced to the wide in turn. Try to get to the 8-foot.
Doesn't want to jam it on his own and roll it into the rings.
No, that was poorly thrown. A big break.
Sorry.
Now Andy Kapp will try to play a split on that stone, get one of them behind his corner and the other one buried behind the centerline guards. The 3 will come into play now.
Great chance for 3, actually. Makes a split. Splitting, you heard it. Just chip off, roll the shooter in, and you want to nudge this stone back into the tee line. End up right there.
David Murdoch has got to watch and feel just absolutely awful about that great chance to regain control of the house.
Knapp durch. Oh, Platz, Fehlplatz. Oh, Fehlplatz. Knapp durch. An der Seite. Oh. An der Seite. Hat er nicht. Ja. Ja.
Calling the other side.
Hart. Aussehen hinter. Oh.
So we're curling the split.
Okay.
And he's going to push this stone to the back of the 8. Its second shot.
Pretty good shot. Ended up, again, about 8 feet of separation. But there is a double for Scotland, and they're going to take a run at it.
It's a far cry from the position they would be in had they made the shot that you drew out, Mike, the split. This is a top house, back house double.
Not real tough.
Wide open on the top stone. Very makeable.
Wilson made a run back to get rid of 2 German stones earlier on this end. And now with his final stone of the end, David Murdoch is attempting to get rid of 2 German stones.
Yep.
Trying a double.
Craig Wilson lost his gripper.
Trying to get across and out of the way. His gripper came off and almost affected one of the stones.
Didn't it? Didn't jump quick enough to get the roll on the inside there, did I?
I thought you were going to fall.
So did I. Must have clipped the back of my own foot when I got up and took the kick.
He's quite fortunate he didn't wipe right out. That was the gripper covering his slider.
I really jumped because it was sitting high for a while, eh?
Yeah. Oh, Molly.
Free draw for 2.
A couple of miscues by David Murdoch, and Germany can get that elusive deuce they've been looking for. Just needs to get a bite of the 8-foot here on this draw. Sweeping for line.
This is we call this the cheap deuce. It was not earned. It was given.
This was the same draw that he made for his 2 in the second end. That just curled in at the very end to get the second point.
And it curls in again at the end for a piece of the 4 for shot stone and a deuce on N6, and it's a 1-point game. Scotland leading Germany. Friends remain a 1-point lead. Scotland over Germany in this 1-2 page playoff game. Tomorrow we'll have the semifinal. The loser will take on Randy Ferbey of Canada. The game gets underway at 2 Eastern time. Well, one of the happiest curlers, I think, here at the Worlds this week was Sean Becker, who skipped New Zealand to an Olympic spot. Sean has popped by the broadcast booth. Sean, congratulations on acquiring that Olympic qualification spot. And you did a little celebrating, I think, last night as a result.
Well, thank you very much, Don. Yeah, we definitely went out and played a little late last night, into the early hours of the morning.
Sean, you've done a little television work for New Zealand last year. You did commentary on the championship game from Gavle, Sweden.
Yeah, and we really enjoyed it, actually. I just wished I could have played as well as I did last year at this tournament. We might have been up there as a 7th place team for that first spot. But I think the competition's just got so tight this year. as you've seen, with 6 teams are tied for the first place.
You saw the game this afternoon between Canada and Norway. You were impressed.
I was really impressed. It was a fantastic game. I think we might have seen maybe 2-3 half shots in the whole game. A little bit flat out here today. I think the teams are going to have to lift it when they play Canada. Whoever has to play Canada in the game tomorrow afternoon, they're really going to have to lift their game.
Now, you're going to have facilities dedicated to curling in New Zealand beginning in May. But are you going to spend some time prior to the Olympic Games in Italy in Canada?
Well, we haven't talked about that as a team, but it looks like we're going to have to take a month or 2 more off work over and above what we normally do. But really looking forward to it. Hasn't sort of set in yet, and the media back home haven't got on to me. But when they do, I think it'll be a big thing for curling.
Well, congratulations on acquiring the Olympic spot. Thanks for dropping by, and we look forward to seeing you in Italy next year.
Oh, my pleasure, Don. I look forward to seeing you there as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sean Becker, who has led his New Zealand team to an Olympic qualifying spot as the result of their performance here at the 2005 World Championship. New Zealand finishing in the standings ahead of Denmark, a team they had to beat by 2 positions to reach the Olympics, and they wound up with a record of 5 and 6.
Did I miss anything?
Well, the key would be we didn't miss you. Scotland here coming behind the tee line. Ewan Byers. You don't want to create momentum here for Germany. They've already got their deuce. Scotland would love to get a point or 2 back right now and create that momentum back in their favor. And I think we talked about this in earlier telecasts. If a team is struggling in the first half of the game, you should never assume they're going to continue to struggle in the second half. You need to continue to put pressure on and make your shots as good as you can.
Well, you hate letting them back into the game like we saw Scotland do there. That was not an earned deuce by any means by the Germans.
Roll off the one in the centre.
Oliver Axnick put his stone right in the pocket formed by the 2 Scottish rocks at the back.
Double peel, Dave, no?
Neil Murdoch is thinking of a double peel.
I like that first.
If they double peel, you know that you're going to be forced to 1 anyway. There wouldn't be a great opportunity to get 2, but it will be opened up for that 1 point. So it all depends on what their goal is here. Are they trying to get more than 1? Or are they happy with an open hit for 1?
8.
Calling out 8, which is behind the tee line.
Send down. Just Louis. Yep.
Stay on this one.
Come on, 4 foot. Hard.
This is a good shot.
That turned out very well. Perfect.
What do you get in that?
Draw weight tap being asked for.
Also 60.
The other option here for Germany is just a straight draw around the guard on this side as well.
40. 6. Ja. Länger. Wow. Gut aus. Länge ist gut. Hab die Linie nicht. Weg. Sauber. Weg. Ja. Wow.
Oh, straight shot that is. Very nice.
Good call on the sweep. It's a very good result.
Yeah, you double rip.
Is there a hole between those 2 guards? There appears to be.
The centre guard's all right, pain. Is there a double rip on, Dave? Can you take both guards?
Probably bounce the red back in, though. That's the problem, Craig.
What about...
See what I mean?
Yeah.
You give it a hack weight and you kick a guard.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a hard call.
I like a hack weight. I like a hack weight. That's on, but you're probably rolling it here. Yeah.
You maybe club the guard.
I really like that. Yeah. That, 11. Yeah.
Just paper by the guard, you could jam it as well.
It's hot now.
Tricky little shot, get the right angle.
If he's going to miss the stone, he wants to rub the guard on the right-hand side.
Just hack. Oh, that's good.
To over curl a little bit rather than under curl. At least open up that stone that's sitting so good in the top 8 foot.
Is he through the hole?
Looks good.
He is. And
Nice
he
shot.
removes it cleanly. Excellent shot.
Nice shot.
Two good shots from Neil Murdoch.
Lucky nearly. Probably actually could have clipped the back yellow in, clipped the back yellow into the red. And sat. Hard to call that though. I was saying you could have potentially actually clipped the back yellow into the red.
You have to leave it a couple of feet too long.
It's hard to call that like.
Muffed it.
Uli Kapp has a draw with back to the 4 foot, get around this guard.
Hard. Es gut. Es gut. Hard. Hard.
Sweeping for line.
Now they're called off, waiting for the stone to curl.
Nice shot.
Well done.
Craig Wilson has out-curled Uli Kapp through the first 6 ends. The big shot for Wilson, the freeze on the 4th.
I think we're going to see a similar advantage for David Murdoch, but again, one easy deuce given to the Germans in the 6th end has really tightened the scoreboard more than you might see if you look at the percentages.
7, 8.
It's through the port. Now whether it will let it slow down.
And will it curl enough? He rubs off the German shot rock.
You can just feel the momentum shifting in this end.
T-line.
Yep. How many times have we seen teams struggle in the second half of a game when they've led 5-2 after 5 ends? Marcel Rock made that observation in the tiebreaker against Finland earlier today. Canada was leading 5-3. He said, well, at least it's not a 5-2 score.
I think sometimes the leading team relaxes a little bit. And the team that is coming from behind has nothing to lose and starts to being forced to make a lot more shots.
Like this.
Germany's really going to put some pressure now on Scotland. Lovely shots by Uli Kapp.
If you recall, on second stones here, the Scots had a chance to double peel and went around. And it's been ugly ever since then for the Scots.
Now they're going to try and peel. Running it back. Chips one stone out.
That's a very good shot.
Better than it was, that's for sure.
You can hear that singing. Those are the Scottish fans, and they've been singing all sorts of songs all week in support of their team.
Just roll it off, Ja. Ja, aber lass ihn so, aber alles, was so ist, muss jetzt vor die kommen, weil sonst ist richtig gefährlich. Wenn du alles, was da vorne hast, hat er den. Kommt er fast nicht. Aber abspielen müssen wir auch nicht, bringt auch nichts. Sobald er irgendwann die Guard weg hat, hat immer ein Double an die. Ja. Ein Double für 2 oder 3.
Joan, I think you'd make a good curling fan.
Me?
That was a great E-high there, John.
That was not me. That was Mike Harris singing Yeehaw. Oh, Don. But in answer to your question, I think I would make a good curling fan. Germany wants to come in and replace that stone, I think, if they could put it right back where it was, right in here. Again, making things a little bit difficult for Scotland. Making them make a pass at it and perhaps having a chance to guard too.
Yeah, guard wouldn't be bad here either. Anything, as long as the line's good. Top 12 wouldn't be bad.
And because the shot stone is behind the tee line, you hate guarding rocks that are behind the tee line. If the opposition gets a chance to come around the guard the other way.
Hard to get there, though.
Wie lang? Wie lang? Muss genau Freeze haben. Richtung, ja. Genau Freeze. Genau Freeze. Linie. Linie.
Beauty.
Perfect line, perfect weight. We watched David Murdoch in the game against Canada just be able to throw the supersonic heater very, very well, as Randy Dutain would put it.
Hey.
For those who may not be familiar, Randy Dutain, the Manitoba skip at the Brier, who threw those big weight takeouts so accurately.
He's on this side. If I should just hitting it, jam that back in the disaster.
Call a timeout.
No, fine. I think it's come back weight.
Back to here.
You have to sit in front of it. Yeah.
You got to watch your shot though, where he's got a guard on, I've got nothing.
Okay.
Sometimes in games we've seen Craig Wilson and Neil Murdoch are a little too quick to want to call a timeout.
Well, this is an important decision. It's not the easiest shot here. They've decided to come down and tap that back and stay frozen on the German stone.
I just put 11. Yeah, I think so.
They talked about trying to stay to be shot stone, otherwise Germany would guard it up and they'd have a hard time scoring. That's hard to do without rolling off.
Yep. Whoa.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hard.
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 To get it past the guard. They do.
Oh.
Hey, shot.
Good shot.
Good shot.
Very nice.
Well done. Got shot stone and is still corner frozen
Couldn't get much better.
to the German stone.
Couldn't get it much better.
I agree. Could not have made that any better than what David Murdoch just did.
Tell you what.
So how does Germany score?
Well, Germany has to decide. They don't have last rock here. Do they try to just hold Scotland to a take of 1, which means they would guard, or do they try to make a play on this stone and get to shot stone and hope to steal?
Dann hat eventuell ein Double für viel. Das ist genau das Problem. Da an die Shot. Wenn du so liegen bleibst und der da, dann braucht er bloß so drauf, hat er einen für 3 oder 4, weil der jetzt auch gelöst ist.
Wenn wir hier so bleiben.
Ja, eben.
So normal.
Ja, aber er hat
Der
nicht.
bleibt liegen. Muss schon spielen.
Talking about leaving a double for field, which is many. He's worried about leaving a double for many here if he doesn't make the right contact on these stones. Stone right now that might come into play for Scotland is this one back here, actually. If throws a little too much weight, he may end up sliding this one out of the 8-foot and this one kind of over to the corner of the 4-foot. and you may have an open hit for 2 or some sort of double for 3. Need to get across the face.
I don't think the middle red one, the one on the tee line, is going too far.
Won't go very far, no.
It's the back one that you're right that'll be out of play.
It's almost certainly going to leave the 8-foot, 4-foot.
Was? Schön so, Nase. Glaub, dass wir hier zweimal liegen.
Trying to hit on the nose. Question of weight.
Kommst du länger? Meinst du, wenn wir nicht wegzwicken können, geht fast nicht, oder? Also wenn wir wegzwicken können, geht fast nicht. Also da geht der auf jeden Fall hin rein. Das ist halt echt.
Wenn du ihn wegzwickst, dann tickt die den wahrscheinlich, weißt du?
Ja.
Das ist das Problem. Ich dachte, wir haben es.
Okay, was du meinst. Wie lange willst du kommen?
Das ist andersrum spielen. Geht schon wegzwicken, aber ich glaube, das sind.
Aber er hat halt auch den Double jetzt, Andi. Das bringt alles nichts.
Wie normal.
Nase.
Normal Nase, ja.
Dass der liegen bleibt.
Dass wir ein bisschen ticken hinter die Garde rein, okay?
Ja.
They can see all of that yellow stone. It's just a matter of how much weight they need to play. I would think they'd want to play this with fairly soft weight, just enough to get across the face and keep your shooter in and around that 4-foot area as well.
The call was normal, which I think is a lot. I think that you have a danger of spinning that center red stone out.
Andy Kapp's final stone of this 7th end. They scored 2 with last rock on the last end to get within 1.
Ganz weg! Ganz weg! Nimm ihn, Olli! Hart!
Looks like
Well,
a
he
shot
takes the
for
stone
2.
off the 4-foot, but there is an opportunity to score 2 now for Scotland.
I think just 2.
Can actually afford to catch it just off nose. That's going in here. It's never going anywhere.
No. Who's sitting third?
Eh? Doesn't matter, Neil, because that's out counting that, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Well,
I better check that, Pete.
yeah.
What are you trying to get here? It's 2?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
As I say, you can afford to just clip that, Dave.
As long as you clip it.
Yep. Wise.
So a lovely opportunity here for Scotland to get 2. I don't think there's any shot there for more than that. So they're just going to come in and just remove this red stone. Their shooter should roll into around here. And you heard Craig Wilson say you could afford to clip the very side of this as long as you didn't jam it straight back and still get 2 points. Big 2 points, regain the 3-point lead.
Set up by a nice shot on David Murdoch's first.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey!
Yep.
Yep!
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh.
He wants to push this red stone through cleanly.
Whoa.
He can also roll onto the corner there as well.
He could, I was going to say, he could nudge that one just far enough where he might get 3. But it's only a score of 2. Had he moved that red just a little further, but there were the stones at the back that were going to outcount it. So it's a score of 2. They get the deuce right back, and it's a 3-point lead again. Three ends remain. Scotland leads Germany by 3, picking up a double on 7 after relinquishing a deuce on 6.
7! It looks okay. Easy.
Well, that deuce was generated all by David Murdoch, and his first rock of that 7th end was just perfect.
Go hard, go hard, go hard.
Little hack weight staying frozen on the rocks in the 4-foot end, being shot stone. It was an excellent shot.
Germany and Scotland have met 15 times since 1990, with Scotland holding a 12-3 advantage over Germany.
Lieber 2.
Lassen.
Germany last beat Scotland at the 2004 Worlds. Sebastian Stock over Ewan McDonald by a score of 7-6. But as a skip, Andy Kapp has not beaten Scotland since the 1997 Worlds.
Well, that was a huge miss there by his lead. In the 8th end, they're trying to get that 2 points back. Cannot put the guard in the house.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Gonna go hard.
Nice shot.
With the hammer, you only get one chance for a guard in the 4-rock rule.
So very hard to generate your 2 points with no guards out front and opposition rocks are in front of the tee line. Scotland's just going to continue to throw peels. Germany will throw some guards, but then we'll have to make a play on something in the house, a perfect freeze or a tap back.
Yep. Wait. Oh.
Well, in the selection process for the Great Britain team for the Olympic Games, there was concern that this Scottish team didn't have international experience. They've certainly gained it here at the 2005 Worlds. They have played in the European Championships and in the Continental Cup.
Oh, easy life.
Well, you know, you think of all the Scottish teams that have been here over the years, and I can't think of one that used to think, boy, this guy can really draw. It's the first skip I've seen come out of Scotland in years that has great confidence with his draw weight.
We talked about that when Scotland played Canada in the round robin, that Scotland for very many years have been criticized for over-reliance on the big weight takeout game, choosing not to draw when they had opportunities.
This takeout isn't going to work. Neil Murdoch trying to peel the corner guard.
He's 80, oder?
Ja.
But the big weight hit was almost a trademark of Scottish teams in years past.
When you talk about the top teams in the men's game, they can all throw the big weight. That is not an issue for most top competitive men's teams. It's the ability to get out of trouble and save your team with a draw or a freeze every now and again, and that's really what has been lacking from some of the Scottish teams we've seen over the years.
Well, we saw a perfect example of the ability to play all the shots in the game this afternoon between Canada and Norway on both sides.
Peel, Dave. Get the corner. Go this.
Another try at peeling the corner guard. It's a nose hit. As a matter of fact, the guard rolls into an even more advantageous position for Germany.
Back-to-back misses on peels. That's very uncharacteristic of this team.
Hinten 12. Tief oder wo? Hinten 12 ist der.
Tief.
Wie lang?
Hinten 8.
Ich sehe es nicht, okay.
Was ist das? Hinten 8.
Back 8.
Hinten 8. Danke.
Länge da außen.
70.
Dann mehr. Vorhin habt ihr an die 60 gehabt oder so.
70 ist gut bei dir.
Okay.
How about splits? 70 is what they're looking for out here. Uli just asking his front end for their recommendation.
Warten. Fehlplatz, Fehlplatz, aufpassen.
Wow, good. Wow.
Oh, easy.
Now it's starting to curl. That's when the weight will come off of it. Trying to get right behind the tee line to the back. 8.
Okay, good. Okay.
Very nice shot. Maybe you'll have to freeze to defend that one.
Difficult, eh, Neil? Don't make it, you lose a 3, yeah? Think better. What do you think?
This 8-3 record, Germany's best at the Worlds in their first appearance. When Andy Kapp skipped in Vasteras in 1990, they were 0-9.
You on?
They were one of the 3 spaces on the bingo card back then.
But they developed under the, and I talked about this earlier as well, under the guidance of Keith Wendorf, who really worked hard with the German Curling Federation to develop a number of teams and the curling program in Germany. And Andy Kapp, I think, is the team that benefited the most out of that.
I'm thinking just this.
Timeout has been called by the Scots.
That great freeze by Oliver Axon. That angle is set up just perfect.
Exactly. I just thought freezing the back one. It's quite a nice shot. I like that. It's too late for peeling.
Okay.
I agree with David Murdoch. It's too late to peel.
Exactly.
We've only got 3 stones left. We've only got 3 stones left, eh? Okay. Yeah.
I'm like confusing that.
Okay.
I always like that shot.
Nice thing about the freeze is if Germany plays the hit on that top one, their shooter won't be second shot. They may end up lying 1, but there's no chance for Germany to lie 2 right away.
Right now, the 3 is in play for Germany. So this is a good call. It's follow this rock down, get a freeze on it, and take away one of those points for sure.
80. 75. Wait only. 6.
Oh, no
7.
Line. No line.
Line's okay now.
Yep. Now starting to move.
Pull it.
Just for a week. Just for a week.
No.
Pull it right in.
Oh, oh.
Good shot.
Big.
Needed a curl.
I think that red stone belonging to Germany is still out counting.
Keep sweeping that, boys.
The rock just
yeah,
thrown. It's very
good
close.
to stay off it, actually.
Well, the big thing about that stone at the back is that Germany can move it out
How wide do you want it to?
and certainly
Get the
make
line
it
in,
count.
but the way you end up bouncing,
That's for
it's a
sure.
disaster.
So I think you'll see a play on those stones at the top of the rings now.
Bisschen nochmal daher. Der liegt besser. Wer liegt besser?
Unser.
Den da nochmal her, Fries spielst. Und den?
Magst den noch nicht spielen?
Auf 3.
Ah,
Den?
den da.
Ja.
Nee.
Irgendwann musst du spielen.
Leg nochmal her.
Okay.
Oder du spielst vorne drin.
Not yet. This is Andy.
Selbe Länge.
Moment, ja. Selbe Länge. Na super.
Okay.
Now help me with that translation, Mike. Did he say that they are shot stone at the back?
No, he doesn't think they are, and he's playing this shot to try to nudge that stone an inch, the yellow one. And maybe even just the freeze in the pocket again. Keep the 3 going.
It's a good call.
Oh. Länge.
They always have that raised double.
Weit.
Oh, was kommen? Ist sehr weit.
Have to wait for this to turn over, to curl just a bit.
Nein.
Komm da.
Oh.
Länge hoch.
Starting to go now.
Oh, was curlen.
Not going to move enough, is it? Just barely. Needed to get to the inside of that stone.
Okay.
Right, Steve?
Yep.
The stone that was just delivered is out counting the yellow stone.
Second shot right now. David Murdoch just needs to get to the inside of those stones at the back of the 8 foot. really will take away chance of any of them counting. And at some point, Andy Kapp's going to have to deal with that stone at the top 4 foot as well.
If he makes this freeze, then Andy Kapp's got to look at how does he get that 2. Concentrate on getting his deuce, and the 3 will be gone.
Right off it.
This is out there as well.
6.
Yep.
Seven. Just for weight. Just for weight.
Line's good. Come on, make it 7. Whoa, whoa if you can. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. Freeze. Freeze. Come on.
Right. Shot.
It's not frozen, but it is second shot.
Big weight shot might be available here to lie 3.
And that's what Andy Kapp is out on the sideboard, just lining up. Seeing if he can make a big weight shot on those top 2 that are frozen together.
So a big weight shot onto this red stone should kick it onto the side here, and if they get lucky, they might make some sort of little shot here. But certainly looks like it might jam, but definitely will bring some these stones at the back of the rings into play. David Murdoch need to get that stone deeper and had it curl more.
Schau mal den an. Ja, dann bleibt der mit da liegen. Hallo. Dann bleibt der mit da liegen. Vorne kriegst du nicht vorbei. Wenn du den so spielst, dass du ihn hier hast. Geht nicht, oder? Mal Timeout nehmen. Du musst ihn so oder so spielen. Timeout. Nee, geht schon. Und der liegt am...
Certainly worth a
Genau
try.
Nase.
I think they have to make this play on these stones
Genau Nase.
right now
Knallt wohl
anyway.
nicht. Wird so Eis geben.
eher innen durchgeht, okay?
So?
So hard to read these angles when you've got stones coming in off others. And
Mehr.
nose weight,
Olli,
big
da kommt die
weight.
Länge, gell?
Präzise ist wichtiger.
Kommt zu mir, Rakete, Jungs.
This shot has been available all the way for Germany.
Well, the shot on the 2 yellows, but it's the 3rd one that we're bringing into the mix now that we're not sure how the second yellow stone will react off of.
Andy can throw the big weight.
He lets fly.
This is a heater.
Oh, he got a good break there. He lies 2. He did clip the other yellow.
Actually unlucky he's not lying 3. If he hits it on the nose, it would have gone straight back onto the side there, but what a good result.
Kann was machen draus.
Can't you see the inside of that?
Counters are behind the T-line again. David Murdoch needs to come in and freeze in there. Try to save the end.
Freeze the back one, Craig, on this side, we're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
What size?
Let's freeze down into that pocket, and it'll take the end away for Scotland.
You like this one? Do you like this? Yeah. Yep. I like it better than another way, but it's by far.
Trying to get down in here.
Right in the back, innit? Oh, yeah.
If he could get it actually keyed up, and I'm going to redraw that right down into there, he'll be sitting pretty. The problem is you got to make sure you're down there. If he comes up short, Germany may have a chance to get across the face and have a shot for 3.
8.
Whoa, right off then.
Whoa.
It's got a lot of weight on this stone.
Good.
And a lot of line right now. Needs to curl.
Make sure it's
9. Whoa.
Make it 9.
It's 9. Wait only. On its own.
Off. Whoa. Off.
Now it's beginning to move.
Hard. Quick. Hard.
Oh, that is just
Very good shot.
excellent.
What a nice shot.
Good shot, Dave. Not bad. Good shot. What's that, Beta?
Andy hitting the outside of that yellow onto his red for 2. How do we get 2 was the question.
Selbe Länge.
Wer bleibt?
Scrum back.
Huh?
Ja, okay, passt schon.
Okay.
Need to hit about an eighth of that stone with a supersonic heater.
Well, he just threw a supersonic heater. He had
Aber dass er vorbeigeht.
a lot of weight on his last stone. You're right, he can throw this big weight. He needs to hit the outside of this yellow stone. Very outside of this yellow stone here, and it'll kick this one sideways onto this one. The yellow one will be gone, and Germany will get 2.
Boy, do you have to throw that hard. Difficult shot. You're only going to be hitting about an inch of that outside stone.
To transfer enough energy to get 3 stones moving in the last one right across the house out of the 8-foot. Tough.
Again, the big weight shot from Andy Kapp, his final stone of this 8th end. Trying to prevent Scotland from stealing, scoring 2 himself. And with the miss, Scotland now has a 4-point lead with 2 ends to play. He just had to catch a portion of the stone to drive it across. He fails to do so, and it's 8-4 Scotland. The reflection in the waters of Victoria's inner harbor of the lights on the BC Legislative Buildings. And just a few blocks away along Blanchard Street, the Save On Foods Memorial Center, where the 2005 World Curling Championships have been taking place. And we're down to just 3 teams still in the chase for this year's title. Canada will play the loser of this game, and at the moment it's looking as though it's going to be Germany's Andy Kapp. The winner of this game advances to the final on Sunday.
Great save there. David Murdoch. And a little bad luck on Andy Kapp's first one. Could have been 3 easily. Certain deuce anyway.
Even his last one, a difficult shot, but definitely worth the risk of trying to get 2 versus giving up the steal. At this late point in the game, they had to do whatever it took to get 2.
Always find it interesting in the 1-2 page game. You see shots tried late in games that really try to get back into. I'm wondering in a final if you wouldn't have just taken your 1 and tried to steal 9 and 10. That was a very difficult shot that Andy Kapp tried.
Yep.
He still would have had to steal 9 and 10 as well.
Trying a tick shot here. Trying a tick shot, I find on the corner guard so very difficult. You don't have a lot of room to maneuver the corner guard before it gets taken out of play. Perhaps
all
a better
that Byers could do, Joan, really was just barely touch the stone.
And perhaps a better shot in that particular situation is Byers' first stone slipped behind the tee line. And that's one of those occasions where you could peel out your own stone.
Läuft schneller da, gell?
Now Scotland will be able to peel.
We saw a couple of peels missed by Scotland last end.
Clean. Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Trying the double.
Whoa.
And he'll get them both.
Keine Zeit.
Oh, nur 2, nur 2.
Hat Braucht.
Well, Team Germany is in a rather desperate situation here on the 9th end, trailing by 4 points.
Okay.
With last rock, they have to score at least 2. They'd like to get 3, and then only have to try and steal 1 on the 10th. But Scotland so far is showing no signs of giving them that opportunity.
Very capable peeling team. These Scots, they're able to throw the big weight. We did see one miss last end from Neil Murdoch.
Yeah. Clean. Yep. Whoa, whoa.
But you can't expect that every end.
Whoa. Yep. Yep.
And again, he gets rid of both stones. 2 double peels back to back for Neil Murdoch. And that atones for his miss on the previous end.
Good.
Very nicely done. That really helps take the pressure off your teammates. Craig Wilson also missed a peel last end, had nosed one instead of removing it from play, so he'll also want to redeem himself.
Yep. Hard. Good. Oh boy.
Very nice.
Läuft ziemlich, oder? 95?
Ist gut.
100?
90. Oh, easy. Long.
Well, this is a very different German team than what Canada saw in the round robin. In the first draw of the round robin, Canada lost to this German team, and they played so very well. And it was Canada's Dave Nedewin that struggled a bit in that game. And I'm sure Team Canada is watching and knowing it's looking like they're going to get another crack at Germany and able to redeem themselves.
Well, as much as David Nedwin struggled, Andy Kapp stood on his head, made everything.
Yep. Clean. Yep. Clean. 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 Clean.
The last time that Scotland played in a World Championship final, they won it in 1999 in St. John, New Brunswick. It was Hammy McMillan with Warwick Smith at third, Ewan McDonald, who is the 5th player on this David Murdoch team, at second stone, and Peter Loudon as the lead. They beat Jeff Stoughton in the final in St. John. They aren't to the final yet, but they've taken a big step in that direction through 8 ends of play.
They're well on their way.
Gut aus.
Menge hat er.
Sauber, außen.
Ja,
Kalt weg.
abbremst.
Außen.
Geht weg.
Kürzer.
Hart.
Oh, kalt weg. Lassen.
Keine.
Ja, so. Vorne 4. Gar nichts.
Ja, geht ganz weg.
Ist okay.
Oh.
Lassen einfach dann.
Okay.
Okay, Olli. Okay.
Aber mit dem?
Ja? Also der ist wahrscheinlich über so einen Fleck da gelaufen.
Another open hit for David Murdoch.
Schau mal hier, David.
Eh?
Schau mal hier.
I hit no out, eh? There's no point lying there.
I don't give him out. Take your time. Just half stone, Craig.
And as long as Scotland keeps hitting these red stones, they're in good shape.
Clean. Clean.
Clean.
Clean. Attaboy. Nice shot.
Attaboy.
Einfach, wenn du da Platz hast.
So.
Na? Also mal, da hast du halt dann auch so.
Now all Germany can do is generate 2 points,
Gerade tippen.
Slide wasn't great, but the throw was good.
and that's only with a miss from Murdoch on his last one.
Aber wird sowieso.
Ja, ich bin perfekt im Freeze drauf.
Okay.
Oder ich rausbringen.
Trying to freeze down to the stone at the back.
Mehr Eis als bei mir.
Ja.
Gehen Sie.
Well, this hasn't been the tidiest game I've ever seen. With when we compare it to that Canada-Norway matchup this afternoon, most of the deuces generated on late misses, a couple of gifts. Both of these teams know they're going to need to raise their level of play if they hope to beat Randy Ferbey.
Yeah, all the points in the Norwegian-Canadian game were hard-earned points today in the 7-6 Canadian triumph.
Eng. Außen. Länge gut. Außen, ja. Außen. Oh, Länge. Komm, viel Platz. Richtung ist gut. Bleib gerade. Oh. Jetzt komm da. Achtung. Sauber. Genau. Sauber. Genau. Sauber. Oh, hat viel Platz. Das muss können.
Needs to curl.
Ja. Hart. Oh.
That's very good.
That is a wonderful freeze.
It's so good that David Murdoch can do is nose it.
There's quite a lot of spring in the stones,
No, there's no space at all. This one, like.
There's quite a lot of spring in the
I
stones.
think that's going anyway. Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah.
We should.
It's just off nose.
As long as we got a good piece of Craig in, we're hard.
Just off nose.
He's not directly in front, like.
Yep.
Might get it.
Do that, you just do that, Dave.
No, I think we can get this away.
Or a hack weight. Play a hack weight if you want. No? Okay.
Can have a
piece of
go.
it, though.
Yep.
Well, we've seen him make some draws. This will be a good test of his hitting ability to get this one out.
Oh, I think this is such a good freeze. It may be better off just to try to nose it and sit right in front of the German stone. And they would, and then Germany would have a tough time getting two.
What a wonderful freeze.
Finn's better.
No, Finn's not that nice.
That's good.
And that was really all Andy Kapp had as he played his first stone on this 9th end. Well, Murdoch can throw some heat as well. Will the red stone spring out of there? That's the question.
Not even close.
Okay. So it's a draw for two. And it required just a great shot by Andy Kapp to generate this deuce. You know, you talked about how tough the game between Canada and Norway was today. After the tie-breaking win against Finland this morning, I thought Randy Ferbey had the best line of the week when he said, Jack McDuff's record remains intact. He was referring, of course, to McDuff being the only Canadian team not to make the playoffs at the World Championship. Had Ferbey lost the tiebreaker, he would not have made the playoffs.
You know, 8-3 record and have a chance to not make it into that 3-4 game was quite incredible.
3 brushers on this one, trying to drag it for their second point. And it makes it there easily. Good brushing.
Good deuce by Andy Kapp.
Yes, it was his shot that enabled Germany to get a pair with last rock on this 9th end. So they head for 10, trailing by 2, but without last rock. Scotland leads by 2, playing the 10th with hammer. And looking back at the 9th end, you might wonder about the decision by David Murdoch with his final stone. That was almost impossible to remove the German rock. Would a not a better shot have been just to follow the same path and come down on top of it and limit Germany to 1?
Certainly could have thrown the back line to hack weight shot and just hit it on the nose and stay frozen. Great freeze by Andy Kapp. And despite the fact that they thought the rocks have been lively, I don't think they have been that lively trying to get things out. We've seen a number of stones jam and not go as far as we might have thought this week.
Well, if there was a lot of separation or just off angle, then certainly go for the peel out. It's just that the line and the weight was so good on that freeze. It seemed like the nose was a better call.
This stone will be replaced as the tick attempt fails.
Yes.
So Germany wants as many rocks in play as possible. Trying to steal 2 is not
impossible, but they'll need misses from this Scottish team for that to happen.
Oh, Länge, weit. Komm noch.
Länge ist gut.
Oh, ist weit.
Ist gut, oder?
Sauber, Jungs. Doch. Ja.
Trying to throw the second guard. Throw it tighter to the rings without being in.
Hallo. Hart. Komm. Weiter, Neustück, du musst da kein. Neustück.
Okay, Holgi.
Olli. Ja, same way. Olli. Wie bit less. Close. Whoa. Off. Bit less. Off. Yep. Off. Whoa. Never. Sure, Craig.
Craig, use
Yeah, this thing. Go. Hard. Atta boy.
There's Patek.
Good shot. Eins.
Eins. 100.
So now trying to replace that guard, throw another high one. Well, although that tick shot was made, there's lots of rocks
Eins.
for peel attempts to jam on.
Richtung ist gut.
Einfach sauber.
Oh.
Ich darf jetzt fangen.
Oh.
Want this guard to be very, very high.
Super. Hang Olli.
It's good.
So David Murdoch and his team will now just try to peel these center guards. And once Andy Kapp decides to go around
No, don't like that.
the one center guard, peel that, and he should have either an open hit or a draw to the 8-foot to win if the Scots are able to make their peels.
Wait. Good now.
Good job.
Well, the Scots made 2 double peels on the last end, but couldn't prevent Germany from getting a deuce. But it was all set up by that great freeze by Andy Kapp with his first stone.
Depending on who you're playing, you know, the philosophy sometimes when you're trying to steal 2 points is just try to lie 3 and get a miss somehow. So quite often you'll see maybe teams going around corner guards, and just, you know, even though they're only in the 12 or 8-foot, you sometimes get teams that will hit against 3, maybe get a rollout, that sort of thing. Stealing 2 around 1 guard is very, very difficult.
Clean, just clean. Just clean.
Another peel by Neil Murdoch.
How about Neil?
We'll see one more guard.
Komm mal, Jungs, oder?
Ja. Brauchst 2 Garden.
Eins.
Ja, einmal noch.
Ja.
One, it's a zone again, just like the Furby,
Also
Furby
100.
system.
Ja. Ein bisschen geschoben.
Oh. Warten. 2. Wow.
Sweepers are backing right off this. I think they might be grouping these stones together.
Oh.
Nichts lassen, so.
Hat Freeze.
Mann.
Ja.
Ganz.
Ja.
Now trying to freeze them.
Ja.
Double peel.
Don't like the left side because he didn't what Dave mine done against Australia.
It's half stone, Craig.
One's all we want.
Yep.
Those are sitting ducks for Craig Wilson.
Be a little careful you don't tick it into the rings. Again, Germany may go around that corner guard again, try to lie 3, but not a huge concern. The front will be open.
Yep. Gonna go hard. Gonna go hard.
Trying to get rid of both German stones, and he'll do it.
Well done. Very nice shot. Well, very little option now for Andy Kapp. Go around one guard, you expect Scots to go up and peel it. Go around the other guard, Scots hit the open one, and then you try to hope for a rollout and get two buried behind one of those corner guards. But you do need a hit and roll out from Scotland for that to happen.
You need a miss, that's right. But Uli Kapp just needs to get Scotland thinking, and that is get this one buried behind this far corner guard.
Lots of room.
But even with a miss, they're still going to leave Murdoch the opportunity to draw with the final stone.
Worst case is a draw to the 8th for the Scots.
And this rock stayed mostly open. So Craig Wilson will make a pass at it. Of course, the way to miss this one is if you're not going to get the one in the house, you want to get the guard.
Should be able to see almost all of that, though. Very open.
Clean. Clean.
Just trying to pick it out of there, and he'll do it.
Well thrown.
Das wird auch nicht.
Cheers.
Ja.
Der letzte. So, der kann aber gegangen gehen, der letzte dann. Passt schon.
So even if Andy Kapp does bury perfectly here, David Murdoch will go up, peel the corner guard. He'll have an open hit to win. For a spot in the final.
Warten, wenn's geht. Warten. Wo? Sehr weit.
Länge gut.
Sehr weit. Sehr weit. Zum Schluss.
And David Murdoch would be the first to admit that he was as surprised as anybody with the six-way tie for first place. And when things were tabulated, his team wound up in first place. Games among the teams that were tied for first place, determining the order of finish.
That way, Dave, no?
But as things unfolded on the final draw, that's what happened, and now Murdoch is 2 stones away from making it into the championship game on Sunday.
And David Murdoch's not taking any chance. He's going to peel the top one, so he'll have that open hit for the win on his last one.
Good, Dave. Not about.
Andy Kapp will try and place a stone behind the corner guard on the other side. But with the final stone, all David Murdoch will have to do is catch a piece of the open rock. Doesn't have to worry about saving his shooter. Leading by 2, playing this 10th.
Doesn't it? It was a good tick by Bader, actually.
Aye, he's defensive.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it doesn't make an awful lot of difference.
Schneller.
Oh, easy. Viel Platz. Sehr viel Platz. Sehr viel Platz. Kann viel können.
Gar nichts.
Nein.
Ganz weg.
Ist egal, bloß gleiche Höhe oder wie auch immer. Nicht durch. Oh, lassen einfach. Das ist ganz egal, wo er ist. Ist gut, Heugi. Ja, passt schon.
You can see Murdoch's already making his way down before this rock comes to rest. He'll have the same shot using the same turn.
Germany defeated Canada on the first draw of round-robin competition by a score of 10-5. As Mike said earlier, Andy Kapp absolutely stood in his head. He made everything in the game against Canada. 1 draw to the button against 3 Canadian stones that were sitting on the edge of the button.
Just didn't put the pressure on David Murdoch today.
Long one.
Andy had his chances.
Wait a bit, Craig.
Good.
It's pretty straight there.
Any portion of this stone, and Scotland moves on to Sunday's championship game.
Yep.
Whoa!
Clean. Attaboy.
They'll be there Sunday afternoon.
Thanks. Good luck.
It will be recorded as an 8-7 victory for Scotland over Germany. Scotland's David Murdoch goes to the championship, and Germany will face Canada's Randy Ferbey in the semi-final game tomorrow. Scotland advancing as the result of winning this 1-2 page playoff game. Germany with a second chance, but they'll play Canada's Randy Ferbey, who was a winner in the 3-4 game today over Paul Trulson of Norway. We'll have that game for you tomorrow at 2 Eastern Time.
The Ford World Men's Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by Ford. Built for life in Canada. The Ford World Men's Curling Championships on CBC. Brought to you by the original Strauss Heart Drops. Trust the tradition. By Karcher. You'll look for things to clean. And by Scott Paper Limited and its family of quality paper products.
Scotland will play for a world championship for the first time since Hammy McMillan won it in 1999 in St. John, New Brunswick. Who his opponent will be in the championship game will be determined tomorrow when Canada's Randy Ferbey goes against Andy Kapp of Germany. You'll see that game on the main network of CBC television beginning at 2 Eastern Time. Now for Joan McCusker and Mike Harris, I'm Don Whitman. Good night from Victoria.
CBC Sports, Canada's Olympic Network.